Welcome into another episode of Harmonious at Lunch. We have another very, very important conversation today. And I'm sure we're going to have a good time too, but it's a topic that a lot of people don't want to talk about. A lot of people maybe don't even know they need to talk about. We're going to talk about mental health in entrepreneurship and just in life, how to recognize it, how to know if you're stressed, you're anxious, you're overwhelmed, all of those terrible things that we're going to get you past in this episode. We're going to recognize, fix, and I have a special guest who is going to share her very unique approach that I've never heard to tackling mental health challenges. But before we get there, let's talk about Harmonious and why we're here and what are we talking about. This is the episode where we disrupt the way you think about your business. It is the 10 fundamental business disciplines that every business across the board must utilize and master in order to grow and scale their business. But of course, there's the other side of business. It's the leader, the you in the business. How do you show up? Your mind and your body, that three-legged stool of business, optimized and in the right state is how you can ultimately achieve your dreams in business and get to that next level. I have a feeling we're going to talk a lot about mind today, mindset and mental health, but I'm sure it will spill over into business. We'll see what happens. Let me introduce you to my guest, Shawnti. Welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me, Brandon. Great to be here.
Yeah, I'm super excited to dive in here and hear more about your unique solution to mental health challenges. But first, introduce yourself to the crowd. What is it that you do in the world?
Hello, everyone. I am Shawnti Refuge. I'm a certified mental health coach, mental health advocate, keynote speaker, author, and advocate. And I show people how to release, heal, and live their best life with guided journaling.
Now that is the interesting part. So what I heard you say is you're a total badass, but you also help people with guided journaling and to help them optimize their mental health. So it's a unique solution I've never heard of, and I'm excited to dig into a little bit more. But before we get there, I'm curious, how did you come about this solution? What happened in your life to bring this to you?
Back in 2018, I woke up like any other day and I didn't feel well mentally. Like it was just something that was going on. Like, you know how a cloud over your head? I literally felt a cloud over my head. So, oh, it's just a funk. I'll get through it. But days passed and my emotions started changing and I became angry, crying, mad, cursing, aggressive. And that's not me. Not 24/7 anyway. I was everything but happy. And, it went on for a month before I decided to go to my primary care doctor. And I'm saying, hey, I'm acting crazy. I don't know what's wrong with me. And she's like, oh, here, take antidepressants. And I'm like, I don't want that. I want to know why I'm going crazy. I thought it was menopause, but I'm so young to be going through that. So that wasn't it. But that was the only solution that she had for me. And I didn't want that. She eventually sent me to a psychiatrist who I told her my story, what was going on, and she gave me antidepressants. And I'm like, okay, I don't want this. I don't want to be this lady who has a glass of wine in one hand and pills in the other. I don't want the rest of my life to be like that. So I wanted to, get to the root of what was wrong. And I eventually found a therapist who taught me how to use guided journals. I've never heard of guided journals either. I'm like, what the hell is this? I don't, when I hear the word journal, I'm thinking diary. And, that word has a negative connotation because, when we were teenagers, we kept diaries and we got in trouble because our parents would go and read them. I'm like, I don't want to do that. And, but she explained to me there's a difference. And what she taught me was guided journaling is specific prompts for a specific issue. And you answer those questions. And believe it or not, it helps you to express things that you probably would have never even thought about expressing. Like you forgot about this, but as you're writing, when that pen hits the paper, it comes out and say, oh my goodness, is that me? And then you're crying and ugly and all that stuff. But in the end, you are healing because you've actually gotten to the root of what was wrong. And now you can work through it and heal through it. So that's what I do now. I turn my pain into a purpose because I don't want anyone to ever go through what I went through. It was not fun at all. And I don't wish that on anybody.
Yeah, I mean, it's such a common story, unfortunately, that we just, life sneaks up on us, if you will, and all of a sudden you're in a doctor's office being prescribed antidepressants. And
Yes.
it's crazy the culture that we live in. I want to back up for a second and before we
Mm-hmm.
dive into how you actually go about doing this process,
Mm-hmm.
the guided journaling, because you kind of glazed over something that's so important that I want to highlight on, and it
Okay.
happens in doctors' offices and in businesses, and we see it all the time. So we're fractional COOs, we're consultants, business consultants. Most of the time, when people call in a consultant, it's because they have a problem, and a lot of consultants will come in and just prescribe solutions. We don't ever get to your words, you actually said it, the root
Root.
cause. You don't
Mm-hmm.
perform a root cause analysis. It happens in healthcare. And here we are. See that? We're tying mindset to business already, only 5 minutes into the episode. Um, but that's why it's so important to dig deeper and ask those questions. And these strategies, uh, what Shawnti's about to share with you, I promise you there's an overlap into relating that to your business. So yes, we are talking about entrepreneurs and mental health, but just see how, like, do this for yourself while we're going through these questions. How can you apply this in your business? How can you ask better questions to get deeper to the root cause of problems? And I'm pretty sure we're going to find some gold in this episode from both mindset and business. So I'm really excited that you brought that up. So thank you. But tell me, so can we dive in a little bit to this process and how you start the process to uncover what's really going on?
Well, we always start with gratitude. That's the first thing. No matter what's going on, you start with gratitude. And I'm grateful for this, I'm grateful for that. And many people don't understand that, even though we're business owners, we're human too. So, sometimes our personal issues come on over to the business side of things. And if you're not any good to yourself, then how are you going to be good for your business? So I always tell business owners, take care of yourself, take care of your mental health, your physical health. And if you are in a position where you can't, delegate someone to do it for you until you can do it. But I always start with gratitude, and then we get to, your why. Why did you choose this as your business? Because sometimes people choose businesses for the money. And if their heart isn't in it, the business won't last. You have to find your purpose, and there's no expiration date or time limit on when you find your purpose. I didn't find my purpose till I was 44. And it's nothing wrong with that. Some people find their purpose when they're 18, 19, and 20. We're all different, and we have to start with stopping comparing ourselves to other people and other businesses. Um, if something isn't going right in a business, if you're having issues with employees, or products or customer service, you have to look at yourself first. You are a reflection of your business. You have to look at yourself, even though you want to say, "Oh, Maggie isn't doing this right," and da da da. It starts with you. You have to take accountability for what's going on with yourself and with your business. And that's one of the hardest things people do, they do not like to take accountability. But if you with me, you're gonna take accountability. And you need to have yourself surrounded with people who are like-minded. Don't take advice from someone who's never ran a business, who's never been in your shoes. Our family and friends, those are not our supporters. And that's where a lot of us get, stressed and depressed about our business, because we're dependent on the people who know us to come and, buy this or that, or, patronize our businesses. But, that's not it. You start with yourself. You have to do some internal work. And from that internal work, then you can go into your business. And if your business is your baby, you're going to run it as such. You're going to make sure all that, you're going to be intentional about the name of your business, what you're selling or what product or service, who are you hiring. You're going to be intentional about all of that. You can't just, oh, she looks like she needs a job, she's very nice. No, you have to do your research. You have to, again, start with yourself. That's where it lies. Start with yourself. um, I've seen so many times where a business has failed because of the personal life. You know, she's not getting along with her husband, they're getting a divorce, the business is failing. And you have to learn how to separate those two, because they're not the same. Your
Mm.
business is your business, personal is personal. Keep them separate.
Yeah, and it's also important to see, like, how you're showing up in both places. Are you two different people in your relationship and in your business? Because that's not sustainable either. And I think when a lot of people start to really fall apart in business, it's because, like you said, they're not clear on their why or their
Mm-hmm.
purpose because they haven't thought about it, and maybe they're chasing money or ego, fame, whatever that may be.
Mm-hmm.
But it's also, I actually had a conversation earlier today with someone who said they experienced burnout many, many years ago because their personal life and how they would show up in the world was drastically different from how they would show up at work. And they
Mm-hmm.
just felt this dissonance, to kind of reference the word above my head, harmonious. That's what we're all
Mm-hmm.
after, is harmony, right? They felt
Right.
dissonance between how they were showing up, and it's unsustainable. So yeah, that's all really good advice, and I love the way you explain that there. So, all right, we're starting with gratitude. We're understanding our purpose, and then where do we go from there? From to fill out this journaling process.
For first, you have to choose a topic that you want to talk about,
Hmm.
that you want to express yourself. Choose that topic. I always suggest that you work on one topic at a time.
Yeah. Do you have any that come up with your clients that are maybe more popular than others?
The most popular ones are Get Out of Your Way, which is an anti self sabotage guided journal. That's my number one. And then my manifestation guided journal, I Think It, I Want It, I Manifest It. That's number two. And then self esteem is number three.
Very cool. All right, so then let's tackle the biggest one, the most
Okay.
important, right? So get out of your
Hmm.
own way. What
Yeah.
what would that look like in terms of the questions we're asking and how we would go about journaling that?
In the guided journal, there are reasons. There's a list of reasons why you would be self-sabotaging. We too many times we have the idea, we have the layout, and then we do something to sabotage it. Like, don't follow through, not consistent. So again, it's something within you that you have to identify and not self-sabotage anymore. Self-sabotage is a dream killer, for
Mm,
real. So you have to stop doing that, and that's lack of confidence, lack of support. That's why I mentioned, once it becomes clear to someone when they are writing. So if that journal prompt says, what was the last thing you self sabotaged? Nobody wants to admit they self sabotage, but, it
but
happens.
it's
We're
on the paper, you
human.
got to answer, right?
Yeah, you have to answer it. You have to be honest with yourself. You have to come to the table, to the journal, and be honest. That way, these simple questions are going to pull things out of you that you probably wasn't even aware of. It makes you aware. Some people don't realize they're self-sabotaging. Some people know it and don't care. But, either way, when you're answering these prompts, it's going to get you to, address things that if I were to just ask you in conversation, you probably wouldn't admit to.
Mm. Yeah, that question just popped up as you were talking because someone else had told me about this recently. Different topic. This was more in terms of finances and financial beliefs, but
Mhm.
that you actually have to put pen to paper, and that's part of his process too, is writing the answers to the questions. And often people are surprised with what comes out. Have you noticed that the actual physical writing of things really helps manifest the words that maybe you never even consciously thought about?
Absolutely, yes. Yes. Because it's different when we have all these thoughts in our head. We think about what, a million different things at the same time, some of us. And you know, you get to declutter your mind, you get to put it on paper. A thought might be one thing in your head, but by the time you start writing it, it's something better, something different, or something, oh, I didn't think about this, but really, yes, you did. You just didn't know how to express it. That's why I recommend writing first before you talk, because we could say things and probably doesn't make any sense to anyone else. It makes sense to us because we're talking about it, but write it down, make it plain, be specific. That way you are able to articulate what it is that you want in your business or in your personal life, or wherever. And once you do that, those things, they come, especially when you do the work. They come. You can manifest anything you want, but you got to write it down.
Hmm. Yeah, I love that. I have another question, but I also I realized that you told me that these journals are available on your website. So
Yes,
let me put that on the
absolutely.
screen. If you're listening, or if you're watching, it's on the screen, but this link will be in the show notes as well, so you can access this information. But tell me about what you have on this website. You have a checklist, I believe, and then where can we get these journals?
The guided journals you can get from ShawntiRefugeJournals.com, or you can go to ShawntiRefuge.com and it'll take you to the link to the guided journals. On ShawntiRefuge.com, there is a Get Unstuck checklist. So you download that checklist and you check off all the things that you may be stuck from. And more times than not, people don't know that they're stuck, which is the reason why I did the Get Unstuck checklist. They don't realize it. So you go through that checklist, you'll find out.
I was
And
just going to say, this sounds like something that you should do, whether this resonates with you or not, because we
yeah,
often don't know, right? If
right,
you're self-sabotaging, if you're stuck, I'd rather find out that you tell me I'm not stuck than not
right,
know for the next 5
right.
years.
Right. And if you are wanting to use guided journals, I have 26 different topics. So they range from self love, self esteem, relationships, goal planning, self awareness. You name it, I have it. If I don't, I will make it for you. So you could go, and all of them come with affirmations pertaining to the topic that you chose. And they come with plenty of writing space and plenty of prompts for you to get writing and for you to express yourself.
That is so awesome. What a fantastic idea. And especially if we go back to the beginning of this conversation,
Hmm.
avoiding medication that is useless and probably hurting you more than not being on the medication and just suffering with mental health issues in a lot of cases,
Right.
which is crazy to say out loud, but and incredibly sad. But I love that you're doing this and you've stumbled upon this. Thank you for turning your pain into your purpose also, and sharing it with so many other people. So we're gonna wrap this episode up, but this is a topic that I'm really excited to bring to light, because as an entrepreneur who has had multiple companies, I've experienced burnout. I have self-sabotage to the point of failing companies, big companies.
Hmm.
I have run into the ground because I was not aware of the subconscious habits that I was practicing. And I'm thankful to say that those are in the past, and I have shined a light in those areas, but I didn't know. Just like you said, I had no idea. And I just thought it was, it was the world, it was the circumstances, it was this, it
Right.
was that. It's not, it's you. Hate to
Yep.
deliver the bad news at the end of the episode, but it's
Yep.
fixable, and Shawnti can help you. So where else can we have your website on the screen? It's in the show notes. All that stuff will be in the show notes. Can we follow you on social media or anywhere and follow your journey?
Absolutely. Please come and follow me. I am Shawnti Refuge Journals on every platform. I'm on TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, LinkedIn. I'm the same person.
That's a branding lesson for you too. We weren't going to talk about branding today, but oh man, so many people come on here and they say, this is my link on LinkedIn and then TikTok and then this and that. Just have the same username on all platforms,
Yes,
please.
have the same one.
Oh man, that's so awesome. Well, thank you for that. And thank you for coming and sharing your story and what you're doing. This is so cool.
Thank
So
you.
let me tie this to the harmonious architecture real quick and how this can improve your business, because that's what we're really here for, right? So this is obviously talking about mindset and the mind body piece of showing up as a leader in business. And those two aspects of this episode of the show always tie over to the I in Harmonious, which stands for inspire. That is our definition of leadership. What is the essence of leadership? It's to inspire your team or to inspire yourself and anyone you're working with to chase the mission and vision of your company, to connect with the original why and purpose of why you started this business and make an impact on the world. So there is obviously a correlation there between what we're talked about and the eye of inspire, but the other side of this too. And I've had situations where I wish, Shawnti, I knew you 5 years ago. Home, humans optimize in a meaningful environment. This is where we put your people in business. If I had this tool to give to some of my employees who suffered with depression, who suffered with anxiety, self-sabotaging, you as a leader, your ultimate job is to build up the people around you. You have no other job. You are there to support your team. You hire these people, you pay them, you must improve their lives. That is my belief. I am putting that on you. And this is a way to do that. There are so many people who are walking through life blind, self-sabotaging, and hurting themselves and others around them, and ultimately your company as a leader. So please reach out to Shawnti. I'm sure she can help you. I'm sure she would love to help you
I
and get you
absolutely can.
these journals and the checklist. Yeah. Thank you again for coming. This has been such a great episode and a great
Thank
conversation.
you.
I hope to have you back in the future. That would be awesome.
Absolutely, yes.
Fantastic. All right. Well, you listening, watching out there, wherever you are, make sure you hit the subscribe button so you don't miss a minute of this wacky show that I just love putting on and meeting all these amazing guests and bringing them to you. And drop it in the comments. What are your takeaways from this episode? What are you going to do? I hope you go to this website. That's what you should do if you're watching. Again, it's in the show notes. Thanks for joining. And thank you for supporting this show, Harmonious at Lunch. We will see you